Let's see if I can find this here. All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Nightmare Stories of the Otherside. Today we welcome in Jenny Sullivan from over in Ireland. She is the founder of Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers, established in 2017. With over 18 years experience, she has been to some of the most amazing locations around Ireland, such as Shane's Castle, Leap Castle, the Hellfire Club, Redwood Castle, and Wicklow Goal. I think I pronounced that right.
Michael, it's jail. We spell it like that. It's
All right.
jail. Yeah,
To
jail.
name just
Yeah.
a few, and being part of a TV show, Spooked Ireland with Chris Fleming. She specializes in audio, so like, share, and comment, and she'll bring you some fantastic footage of beautiful and infamous locations and audio from your investigations. So welcome
Yeah.
in, Jenny. Tell us a
Thank
little
you.
more about yourself.
I think you covered a little bit of it there. I found it. I'm doing, as you said, I'm doing paranormal about 18 years. I have founded my team about 8 years ago, and we have gone to, as you said, some of the most amazing locations in Ireland. And there's plenty more to do that I haven't done yet, but I will be doing very soon. Um, how when I got into when I was younger, I come from a very large family. So when I was younger, there's always one that's different, and that had to be me. Of course, it had to be me, always me. And I would see things. Oh my gosh, I would see things or hear things. And some of my family did as well. There was one, oh gosh, it's a long story, but I'll make it shorter. It's a long story, make it shorter. There was
Whatever
a
you
time.
want to do, we're fine with.
Thank you. There's a lot. It was November. I was a teenager. I was leaving my friend's home. I walked around back to my family home, and I was walking up my long garden with I met my brother's friend. November night, no clouds in the sky, nothing like that. And I put my hand on his shoulder for whatever reason. And I said, "What's that up in the sky?" And he started singing and messing, joking, saying, "It's the banshees, it's the banshees." And I said, "Stop, I don't like that. Stop." Went inside, told my sister, she looked out the window. Nothing was in the sky for me to look up to, if that makes sense. Nothing. Why I said it, I don't know. So she looked out the window, my sister looked out the window and seeing these things in the sky. So she was putting on young TV programs for me and my siblings to watch and whatnot. I didn't, of course. I was different. I didn't. And I'm just looking at the corner of my eye. My cat is about to cry in a second. He does it all the time. Trust and believe he will do a countdown and he will. But I think weeks prior to that, my brother-in-law, his brother had passed away, and my older sister, two of our separate friends, one parent of each had passed away. One a week prior, one just that night. There was three huge things in the sky, and I know it sounds crazy. It's like a movie. It sounds crazy, but I always say they look like Halley's Comet. They were round
Okay.
and then went into a long tail. They were huge, absolutely huge. And I live on what we call it a main road. It's just probably like a country road, but it's like a main road. And it was an unused factory across the road from me, and there was hedges the whole way up. But you'd have two here and one here, and they'd float up and down, up and down. So when they go up, they go missing. When they come down, you see them obviously when they go back up. And then when they do that, you would have two here and one here. They float up and there's my cat, up and down, up and down, up and down. Excuse me. And that went on for about an hour, something like that. There was about, oh gosh, my mum was being picked up from work. My sister was driving home from work and so on. And then we were all standing outside and we were just getting, the outdoor porch, we were just getting one built. So the cement blocks were still being built up. So there was nothing there at the time, no proper porch built. We're standing out there outside looking up to this factory. And then the weirdest thing happened. If you blinked, you would have missed it. One shot down, went through the hedges. You could see it going through the hedges. Down, over, and went back up to the sky. We screamed, and I remember we were running inside, but I had adults pulling me backwards so they could get into the house before me. And I know it sounds like a movie, and it's the most thing that I'll carry with me forever and ever, and still try and dissect it. What
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
said to me, Jenny, what color were they? And I said they were like a smoky cigarette gray. They
Huh.
weren't white, they weren't gray, they were like a cigarette smoky gray. And when one came down and went through the hedge, if it was beside you, it would be taller than you.
Huh.
Tall. Oh,
Wow.
these were huge.
That's
And I know it,
amazing.
you know, it sounds crazy. And I always said before, I wish we had, and I know you never know what will happen in the future, if we can have projectors of a mind and telling stories and you can see what our memories would
Right.
have.
Yeah.
With me, I think that would be good enough for me because then people will know exactly what I'm thinking of them. So, sometimes that wouldn't be too great. But
Yeah.
um they were huge, absolutely huge. To this day, never happened again. Never happened again. Don't know what they were. Don't know why we seen them. And I was a teenager at the time, a young teenager at the time, Um, that was one of many experiences that I've had. That probably would have been the biggest one. And I still dissect my brain. What was it? I draw pictures of it. Now it's not hard to draw a picture of Haley's comment, but put the color into it. It was surreal. It was crazy. It was,
I'm sure it was.
yeah, it was just.
I mean, I could see him floating up and down, but to have one actually dart through a big hedge.
I keep going to say she did. I don't know why I keep saying she, but it was down through the hedge and back up again within two
Yeah.
seconds. Say, as if to say, right, what you're seeing
Yeah.
is. It was.
It's real. Yeah.
If someone could do that in a movie, if someone could do that in a film clip for me, or AI it or something like that, it would be exactly what it is. Yeah, it would be exactly what it is. It was the most craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah,
Well, it
it
kind
was
of
mad.
reminds me of like I was just going through Facebook last night and I saw these 10 strangest videos that can't be explained across the world. And I think it was like number 3 or number 4. It looked like, kind of like what you said, a smoky gray, but more smoky grayish brown. But like, I can't remember what country it is, but it looked like an angel ascending and then it got in the clouds and it disappeared and then came back in a different area.
Uh,
It, it's something is happened, and as we get older and we are in this field for a very long time, and then we still can't make sense of it.
yeah.
As much as we think we know, we really don't.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I've told people, with like REM pods and stuff for investigating, it's nice for me to have something that makes noise and stuff, yeah, yeah, so that other people don't think I'm insane with what I'm seeing. It's
Right.
actually there. This is proving it's there because I
Yeah,
see it all, and yeah, but they can't. So it's like it's just one of them things.
you just can never explain it, it frustrates me a little bit that um this could not be explained, no matter how
Mhm.
no matter how much you try to, could it be this, could it be that. I remember my sister coming downstairs from the bedroom and said, because she knew I was very aware of it, and I got upset over it. Don't know why, but I did. And my friend came over to me and she gave me a brown paper bag. And I'm like, what's this for? And she goes, to breathe into, Jenny, it's to breathe into. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm just having a moment. I'm okay. None of them could make it out. None of them could make it out what it was. It was the most mind-blowing, craziest thing that will stay with me forever. Maybe someday I'll know what it is. Maybe someday I won't. Maybe someday I'll never find out what it is. And maybe someday I might. Do I want to see it again? Maybe not.
right.
Maybe not. I don't know. But if I did, we have cameras now because we didn't have mobiles back then.
Yeah.
With no TV, we didn't have mobile phones then that we could have taken a video of it.
Yeah.
Bit weird, very weird.
Yes,
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah, it was a moment. Yeah. I know, I keep thinking about it in my head.
Yeah, now that you got me thinking, it's like that's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So for like when you started your paranormal team, where was like the first location you investigated?
Redwood Castle.
Hmm.
Redwood Castle was the first place that we started off in. Um, it's down in the south of Ireland, County Tipperary, and it's a good location. I'm doing it for many years now because I love to go back to the same locations time and time again. I don't like going to a location for one time only and that's it, because that just
Mhm.
really defeats why I do what I do.
Yeah.
So we're going back in July. We're going to stay there for the weekend. But Redwood Castle is it's a great place. It was like the Normans, and I know the owner of the castle that I still speak to. And when I go down with my team, she's always there. She's lovely. She's a feisty lady. She's a fight. I tell you, she climbs those castle stairs carrying up bags of logs, and we're like, put them down. We'll carry them. And because castle stairs, they are hard. They can be pretty hard. And I keep saying when we go back in July, and we were in Lep Castle last week, and I said, if you think these stairs are hard, wait until you all come back to Redwood Castle. Those stairs are not to be joked at. I remember Kalisa, an elderly lady, was given out to me because I was moaning about my knees on the stairs, and she was given out to me, and I'm like, okay, I won't moan. Knee support because the stairs are really hard. Obviously, they had to be hard for a reason. Um, but we started off in Redwood Castle, and it started off slowly. We didn't know a lot about it. We kind of did our thing. I was in a different team prior to that for many years. So when that team folded, I started off my own team. Redwood Castle is good. It's getting better. I know we're back in July for the weekend. It is getting better. There's a lot of more things in it and I always say the more you go back to a location, the more you will get something from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
I always say, not all history is written in books.
Yeah.
So there's stories there that you don't know about. There's names that you don't know about. I remember talking to a friend of mine, and she wasn't going to tell me anything about what she got from Redwood. And I said, I'm not going to tell you either because we like to keep it until we know what we're getting. And I mentioned one or two things, and she looked at me in video and she goes, she didn't say anything, she smiled. And I'm like, okay, the two of us, two different teams, are on the right track. We know something about this castle that no one else has known about it or asked about it. So from then on, we just build up our next question, our next investigation, our next room that we want to go into in that location, and work from that onwards. I know a lot of people do history work background. That's fine. Get the names, get years, so we can work on that. But don't look up every single thing that you're going to power of suggestion, and you're going to get it in your mind, and then you're going to go by, oh my God, I heard a John or X Y said. No names until you go back and do your audio and whatnot. And then if you get a John, great. If you don't get a John, that's okay too. Just for an example. But it is. There was one night we were doing the spirit box, and I had my recorder on, and I time and dated and so on. Listened back to the recordings, and then you can just hear hello. and it was an old gentleman's voice saying hello. And I looked at the people, the team members and whatnot, and we were like, bleep, 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 Irish language, bleep, 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 as you do, like what? And it sounded like what we think was the owner of the castle.
Sure.
And we didn't want to put it to the owner because it would have been her dad.
Oh,
But,
sure.
right. So and his picture is up on the wall and his uniform, and he worked in a place where I used to work at in the office and whatnot. But we didn't hear in the spirit box. Everything was just done by the recorder, which is another crazy piece of equipment.
Yeah.
You know it, but it's playing with you. I think as you get older doing this and longer in the field doing this, And you think you got it, you can sit back, relax, fold your arms. I got it. No, it just knows that you think you got it, and then it just gives you a curveball to say, okay, I'm throwing something else out here now for you
Oh,
to
yeah.
right. And you're
Yeah,
thinking,
there's pieces of equipment that will work one night and they won't the next.
yes, exactly. It's just it will pick up something, and people would be in a place. And I used to investigate in Shane's Castle, and you'd have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 recorders running. And this is back in the early days, and someone would say, I didn't get that, but one recorder will pick up something. We don't know why.
Yeah.
We go by the name of the recorder. Is it that recorder that just picked it up because of the name of it or XYZ? And people would be like, I got it. It was like, no, your recorder got it. Doesn't matter that you own the recorder, your recorder got it. So that was back in the days when it was a kind of a crazy time, if not worse now sometimes. But there was experiments that we would do. Well, in Shane's Castle now, I'll tell you about Shane's Castle, is in the north of Ireland, County Antrim. And it's the very first location I've ever investigated in. And it's not for the faint-hearted. It really isn't. To be thrown in at the deep end is not for the faint-hearted. If anyone's ever watched Games of Thrones, they would have filmed in those tunnels.
Okay.
It was called Shane's Castle. The castle is in ruins, but we go underneath the ground. We're in tunnels. And it is long, and you have vaults on each side. And the vaults will be about over 30 feet long. And there's about 11, 12, 15 maybe on each side. And I've been to that location for every single month for like 8 years, something like that. And I remember we all had to go into a vault by ourselves, and we would have the same questions to ask out. But we wouldn't ask them out loud. We would say it in our minds. So if you get anything from your recorder, can they mind read you or read your mind? So you ask a question, you say nothing, everyone has the same questions, and you see if you get anything on the recorder. Nothing came up in the recorder. Nothing at all came up in the recorder. And that was the only time that experiment was done. So I'm now picking that experiment back up again to, see if they can read your minds or, write your question down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Don't ask the question, write it down on a piece of paper and see if you get a response to it. Read it and whatnot. And so we know back in the day, some people could read, some people had education, some people didn't. So that's what we're working on as well, too. Experiments like that. Once you think you have it done and then 10 more comes to you, it's like, oh my God, I thought my was done.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, part of the thing that always gets me is before you even get there, they know you're coming, and they know your name.
Yeah.
And the last place that we went to, they even knew how old I was going to be the next day because we went my birthday eve. We went to the location. They knew how old I was going to be.
Really? Oh gosh!
Oh, yeah.
If they said my age out,
crazy.
the audio would never go up. If they said my age out, it would never go up ever. But they know what's coming. I remember going to a location here in my hometown, and I used to go there school tours. And I was late getting over one night, and we listened back. One of the guys had the recorder running, so we listened back to the recorder, and then you can hear the women saying something like, "Here's Jenny," or "Here comes Jenny." Because every time you go in, and I know that place like the back of my hand. So when you go in, you always say, "Thank you for letting me be here again tonight. We hope you're okay, and let's have a good night tonight," and so on. And then when you leave, you say goodbye.
Yep.
And so on. So they do know. And then you ever get the anxiety a little bit? Not all locations that I go to, but you get a little bit of anxiety.
Every once in a while, I think with the first trip, like you were saying, with multiple times going, I believe that's the way to go because the first time you get all the leave, you get out of here, and because it's their house, right? We're in their house, and how would you feel? And then the next time it's just like, well, we know her. She's nice,
That's it.
Yeah.
You go in, you like you said, you go into the home and no matter how many years ago it was, even in Lep Castle, we go into Lep Castle, we say hi, we leave, we say goodbye.
Yeah.
I know, gosh, I'm doing that location about 7 years, a little bit, about 7 years. Yes, about 7 years. And then we were there last not Friday gone, Friday before that, and I'm back on Tuesday. I'm back on Tuesday, yeah. For the daytime, not for the nighttime, for daytime. I've work to do there in Newcastle. So when I go back in, it's kind of like, hey, just me again, just me. Even the owner, Sean, said, Jenny, bring your suitcase. And I'm like, don't tempt me, because I will. I will bring my suitcase to live in Newcastle. It's a great place. It is a fantastic place.
It looks like it.
Oh my goodness. It's like kind of like, I know people that came with us Friday week ago. The majority of them there was the first time ever in Newcastle. And I'm in a car with a few of my friends, and they would have never been there before.
Yeah.
And they were excited and nervous, and they could get the tingle feeling when we drove onto the land. And I just said, wait until we turn around the corner, ladies. Just wait until we turn around the corner. And then you will see the castle that people talk about and that has been on TV.
Yeah.
And this world, you know, the people in the paranormal will know about Lep Castle. And you know, I will take them back again. I will definitely take them back again, because they loved it. They worked well in it. And definitely I would 100% take them back with me again.
Yeah.
You know, I like small teams, very small teams.
Now, with something that big, even when you go, you get where you go around the corner and you can see it. Do you still get goosebumps when you see it?
Do you know what? The first time I did, when we turned around the corner, and I was like, my breath was taken away. My breath was taken away. And now when we turn the corner around, I'm like, I'm home. It's like, I'm home. It's kind of like, do they know Jenny's here? Jenny's back. Jenny's here. And so you ever go in your mind thinking like, think to yourself, I'm back. I'm coming back. Letting you know now, guys, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. So when I turn around, and it's kind of like, it's not new to me anymore.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm home. I know this place.
Yeah, I was just thinking with seeing something that big. I mean, in America here, it would be one of the big asylums or something we'd be pulling up to, and it would just be like, here's this great big old building, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah. It was like that. It was like that. I still get nervous. Trying to not as much as I did before, because I know that I was in Lep, not the last time previously, but before that, I had a bit of a scare, which I haven't had ever in Lep Castle, ever. And I got a huge scare in the bloody chapel. And my gosh, I remember being in Shane's Castle up in the north of Ireland, and we had done a reenactment. And I was freshly about a year or two on the team, so I was still kind of like new into it and whatnot. And I know one of the guys, the founder, wanted to do a reenactment. So he goes, Jenny, right, you're calling out. And I'm like, okay. He goes, you're provoking. And I was like, I don't want to provoke. I'm not provoking. But, he's not just because he's a team founder, but I was new relatively. So I'm like, okay, we had people with us. And I said, right. So I provoked, which I shouldn't have, but I did. But maybe it was a good thing that I learned earlier then why you shouldn't provoke. And it's not funny, and it's not great, and it's not brave. It's definitely very, very, very stupid. So when we went back down, we had taken a coffee break and so on. Things had happened. We took a coffee break, and then we went back into that tunnels. And the rest of the people stayed up. I took my group down with me, and we were going back into the area where we had done the reenactment earlier on that night. The minute we walked into those tunnels, you were hit with the smell of sulfur. I've never in my days experienced anything like it. The smell was in your nostrils. It was in your mouth. You could, the top of your palate, I got irritant, you get the little lumps in your palate, like your throat is annoyed. I got all of that. And we kept walking in, and one of the women said to me, Jen, we can't keep going in. And I'm like, we can. We know they're here. They know we're here. This is what we do. But we had public with us. So we got halfway up, and then I changed my mind. I said, right, we'll turn around and we'll leave. So we went to turn around and leave. And I said to my friend, I said, I don't know why we're leaving if we know they're here and they know we're here. I was like, pointless. Within 10, 15, 20 seconds, something like that later, It was like the Matrix. It was as if something ran up towards me, face to face, or ran.
Mhm.
My hearing went, my eyes closed, my head went back slowly, like what I thought it was. Maybe it didn't, but what I thought it felt like my head went back like the Matrix and came back up. My hearing came back, and I linked my friend's arm and I said, "Take me out, take me out. I need to get out right now." And then I thought to myself, "You lose it, you're done."
Yeah.
So that's when I said, "Okay, we're leaving now," and so on. It was crazy. And then we got to the bloody chapel, say about a year ago, something like that. And we had a friend of mine from Washington, D.C. to come over. And so he's a YouTuber, never
Mhm.
left America before. And we're bringing him to Redwood Castle and left Castle. So film. I was like, why did you not film? Like, you're in Ireland, film these fabulous locations that you don't always do. You can drive down the road and we can go to it, film. So we got from one area of Lep Castle, got to the bloody chapel. And I had said to him, "So what do you think of it so far?" And he said, yeah, it's good. I'm like, that's good. Okay. Okay, I'm delighted you're enjoying it. But and I said the bloody chapel can be a little bit quiet sometimes, and the banquet room is my room to go into. Now there's window frames on obviously at the bloody chapel, obviously no windows. If you have a smell coming through and you're on the third floor, if you have a smell coming through, you're going to get the scent of it, and everyone's going to get the scent of it.
Mhm.
That within 10, 15, 20 seconds later, immediately there was no waft of smell coming in. It was just immediately sulfur in my nose.
Huh.
Sulfur. And I said for many years, I never want to experience that again.
Yeah.
Within that time, I had sulfur. Yet again, I had sulfur after 10 years. And I had grabbed my poor friend, had grabbed his arm, and I had the guy from Washington, and excuse me, and I was saying, "We gotta go, we gotta get out, we have to go. Now it's a warning. We have to
Yeah.
go." I had people with me and I said, "Okay, we're going to leave now. We have to leave." And I had a long coat on me and I kept saying, "Am I burning? Is my coat burning?" And they said, "No, Jenny, it's not." And I'm like, "Is my coat burning? I can smell it's burning. I can smell the after, as if something had burnt and the after smell of a burn."
Hmm.
They couldn't. So we're walking down the stairs, the spiral stairs, going back downstairs, all of us. And then some of them then said, "Oh, we can smell burning. We can smell burning." So we went downstairs and I stayed downstairs at the fire. Somebody stayed with me just because I was a little bit nervous again. And so the rest of the people went upstairs and we radioed each other. And I said, "Ask them, is it okay if I go back up again?" And a woman was saying no. So
Yeah.
I didn't go back up until Friday week ago. I went back up and it was okay then. It was okay then. But
Yeah. Yeah. What I've heard that a lot of people get when they're in the Bloody Chapel is the smell of decomp.
yes, yeah. That the oubliette is up there.
Yeah.
So that's what all the bodies, 150 bodies were thrown into the oubliette.
Yeah.
The bottom of it, now there's no spikes there anymore. But the ones who were thrown in first were like, would have been would have had obviously died, would have been
Hmm.
but when they kept throwing bodies in and those spikes were filled up, you're throwing live people in on top of dead bodies. And,
Yeah.
and it would take longer for them. And they would have sat in the banquet room and had dinner and cheers and whatnot, listened to the people screaming upstairs in the bloody chapel.
Yeah.
It's
That's
it,
crazy.
yeah, it's definitely someplace. Yeah, definitely someplace. And I know they know I'm back on Tuesday. They know I'm
Uh,
back. Cannot
It's kind
wait.
of, it's kind of
like,
like for
what can
me.
we come up for with her this time?
Hmm?
It's like, what can we come up with for her this time?
Right? Let's go. It's not the day, and I always go in saying today's not the day, and I'm not the one.
Uh,
It's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
like
why.
for me on Easter, we're going back to a location I've investigated twice before, and I just can't wait to get back in there and for, my whole team to experience it because no one else has been there before.
Oh,
yeah.
so you know.
I was
Yep.
supposed to have gone last year, but I ended up having a family emergency with my dad, and I couldn't go.
So it's your first time there. It's going to be your
Yeah,
first.
it will be.
And I always, do you know what I always call people who come to the locations with me for the very first time? Fresh meat. Fresh
Oh
meat.
yeah.
I
Trust
always
me.
do. Yeah, I always do. Just, so because I know it so well, and I'd say nothing. I remember sitting around, we were there like Friday week, we were there sitting around the banquet room table. And I said nothing to I would not give anyone what I know from that Lep Castle for any location. But
Yeah.
everything they were saying, I almost said, oh my God, yes, oh my God, yes. But I said nothing. But
Yeah.
everything they were saying was completely and utterly validated from what they were experiencing because I said nothing to them before or even
Yep.
after. I said nothing. And they validated all of it, everything, and they've never been there before.
Yeah,
So
that's neat.
that was a good thing that the sitting at that table and experiencing a few things that happened in that room
Mhm.
of the castle that I would know. So yeah, that was really good for me because it
Yeah.
was by people who has never been there before. So that was really, really good for me to say, right, this is not just stories said by other people. And I,
Mhm.
well, was it power of suggestion and whatnot, even though I'm there many years, that these people that I never, my guests, my friends that I've never said anything to, that they could say these things. And
Yeah.
it was a good thing.
Well,
Yeah.
in that case, you were kind of like a REM pod for them.
Kind of.
Because you were sounding off, being like, "Yep, yep, okay, yep, you're
Yeah.
right."
And I'd be sitting at the top of the table, like just go, but in the darkness, just with candlelight, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
not to them, just to myself, like, and I really wanted to say it, but you don't, because then you feed into it, and then they will. But some of the things that the women were saying, was just spot on.
Hmm,
Creme de la creme, spot on,
that's
and
cool.
that's great that you got that. I didn't say it, but I did say to them afterwards on a coffee break that everything that you experienced is very real. Didn't say everything, but people like
Mhm.
say one or two things. People have experienced this and that, and what you were saying, you got it. Without me even saying anything, you got it. Yeah, it was great.
Once you feel you've seen everything, then there's really no point in going back. You know,
Right,
well,
right.
it's nice for them to want to come back.
That's it. And you just, I know someone said to me before, Jen, if you keep going back to the same locations time and time again, people are going to get bored. I'm like,
Mm,
that's great. I said, I'm not an entertainer. I'm not an entertainer. I'm an investigator, researcher. So listen, if you want to watch the live that we do, and sometimes we do lives, but
yeah.
if you've seen it before and you don't want to see it again, there's a button called off.
Yep.
Stop. I said, you don't have to watch it. I am there, and I'm only doing it for my friends in America that love Lep Castle and want to see Lep Castle. And I do it for them, and I do it for me, and then I film
Mhm.
myself privately and so on and so on. But and you will get people who investigate but do one location, only one at a time, and don't do it anymore after that. Don't follow up. Don't follow up any answers you might get on EVPs. Don't follow up on anything like that. And I'm all about the EVPs.
Sure.
I'm all about the EVPs. I am that and EVPs. I love it.
No, I mean EVPs are the realest form of evidence you're going to get.
Right?
Because it
Exactly.
came straight from them.
That's it. You can get residual, you can get intelligent. I remember doing it one of my shows one night, and I was asking a very fantastic guy who's a parapsychologist, and asking him questions, and he said, "What's the most common result of investigations?" And of course, I would say EVPs. He goes, "Right." A lot of people will say EVPs, but no one will say video footage
Yeah.
or something like that, because they're not always caught, and then they're more dissected, as EVPs should be as well. But if you have a very small team with you and you lock and load off a room with a recorder in it and a camera in it, you go by that.
Hmm.
But videos can be, as what they say, faked. They can be, or they're genuine and they're legit.
Yep.
But it takes it's harder for people to believe it because of half the stuff that people put on the internet these days of
Exactly.
fake videos. So you have to be known, be liked, be trustworthy of the stuff that you find and you put out there. Own your work, own your name, be truthful to what you do, how you do it, and take people's opinions on it. And then you can answer any questions that they have. And if you're lying, you're going to mess up. If you're true, your answer will be the same all the time when everybody questions you about this, where people were. We do video work. I do video work as well, and I'll be doing some tonight as again. There's some videos when there's one particular location that I do, and I had two cameras, both camcorders plugged in on tripods, plugged in so the battery wouldn't run out, on stone steps where I had toys placed on it, and a REM pod and a recorder and whatnot. We came back out about 2 hours later, and the ball had been dropped to the bottom of the stairs. And yet the stone stairs, but I made sure I put this ball, like a small child's ball, on a groove of the wooden stone, the stone step, that it would not roll by itself. We went out and checked it out. The ball was at the very bottom of the stairs. The cameras were turned off. You should have seen me crying. It's like, oh my God. We have to do this again. I was really annoyed. Not annoyed. I was a little upset over it because
So you did not catch the ball rolling?
Nope.
No?
No. And we had it plugged in, and you can hear the ball falling down. You can hear the REM pod being hit off and gone off, and you from the recorder. No, that room is locked off. The staircase is locked off. We left it for about 2 or 3 hours, and the ball, you can hear the ball hit, fall, thump, thump, thump down the stairs, hit off the REM pod. That's it, but you don't see it. And I was I was so annoyed over it. I was annoyed over it because I find that one particular location hates the camera. They hate the camera. I don't know why. Well, I probably do know why. They don't want to be on camera, but they it was plugged in. It was battery operated, but also plugged in the wall, so it doesn't run out of battery.
So somebody physically went up and pushed the button.
Then I was thinking to myself, Jenny, did you turn it on? Did you turn it on? I'm like, I did, because I watched the numbers running, moving, and record. So I did see it, but it didn't record it. Just everything went off and flat. Yeah, that was not a good thing. That was not a good thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was a bit really annoying. I'm not going to lie, really annoying. I think one of the women sat there in the chair and she goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, do you ever get anger crying? I was upset. I was anger crying. Not anger. I was kind of like, I needed that.
Yeah.
We didn't get it. And then I just said, you know what? I get it. Okay, do you? I get it. Don't do it. Don't be on camera. We know. Even down in the kitchen area, we'd have cameras on, and we would do the ITC, where this is my favorite thing to do. I know a team that we had with us last week. He said, Jenny, we're going to take this with us. And I'm like, take it, use it, get good from it, because it's a great piece of experiments that I do. So you have your mobile phone, and I always find WhatsApp is the best one to do the phone call with. WhatsApp. Don't know why. We've experimented with other, like Facebook and whatnot. It didn't work. WhatsApp is the best one. So somebody rings you and calls you on WhatsApp. You answer on speaker. They have their phone on speaker. You go to a different part of the building with a recorder and your phone on speaker. You note it, you document it, you time it, you put them down together. Always keep your recorder away from the phone, because they will, as you know, contaminate each other.
Yep.
Then we go to a different part of the building and we call out. It's probably the best thing I've ever done. Ever done. It is, you got to try it. Even when I had the team with me from the north of Ireland, they were like, Janet, I'm going to take this up now. But that's not Janet. And I'm like, yeah, take it, use it. And it didn't let me down. And I said, trust me when I do this, trust me. And this is what was on the Spooked Ireland show. So when you're calling questions out, you will get, that's my dog snoring in the background if you can hear her. You will get these things coming through the phone going, shh, shh, shh. I'd be like if you talk, I will cut your tongue out. Don't talk. I'm very crazy when it comes to audio. Do not talk, do not whisper. We just do like no talking. And you'll get things coming through, and I've gotten some amazing things from it. It would blow your mind up. And it's just basically like them calling out, but you're not in the room with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when we went last week, like I said, the people were there were new. I was there. So I always get everyone to introduce themselves. Introduce themselves. My name is XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And I said, listen, you know what we're doing. We've done this before. Do you remember me? Do you remember anyone who's been here before? That, I think there was 2 people that were there before, but not years ago. And do you remember anyone? You know what we do? You know how we do it? So we went on for 15 minutes, and then we took the phone back out, put it on speaker, and then you can hear this. You can hear talking above my voice, below my voice. You can hear talking, and then you hear Jenny. And the fact that we all heard it was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So we played it over and over again and over again. And there was another time in the banquet room of Leap Castle. We're sitting around the big, long banquet room table. We did the ITC, phone us down in the green room, where 2-3 spiral stairs up, sit in the banquet room. We are nowhere near that room. So I'm calling out for the little girls, Emily and Charlotte, the 2 little girls that would have passed away in that castle. And I said, right, we're going to sing a nursery rhyme for you, because I always find sometimes the nursery rhymes get a lot of reaction. So I said, okay, we're going to sing out a nursery rhyme. And I was joking, saying to one of the team members before, I said, David, take it away, without him knowing. And he was like, I'm not singing. So we were laughing over it. But we went down, we all took a coffee break, went downstairs, sat around the fire, did a playback. So you can hear me saying, right, we're going to sing Ring a Ring a Rosie. David, take it away. I'm not singing. You will hear a little girl, and we all heard it at the same time, and we knew what she was saying, which would be like a class A. And you can hear her saying, yes, David, like a young girl's female voice saying, yes, David.
That's cute.
We looked at each other, and yet she said her name. She said his name.
Yeah.
David. And he just, all he ever wanted to have an investigation was someone to say his name.
Well, yeah.
Not me, give it out. David, get in, get up, sit down, move. He just wanted someone who wasn't me that would say David.
Well, and then for a little girl's voice to say that is just kind of endearing.
Perfect. It was I can send you on the audio clip that you can hear it, and you hear her say, yes, David, and that was gold. That was gold. Yeah. That was perfect. That was brilliant.
She was just sitting there like, yes, I get to hear it.
And I was just like, pen drop, mic drop. Now I can go home. Now I proved that, this does work. So I know a lot of people are doing that as well, doing it, and I think they should, because it's brilliant. It's you never know what you're going to get. There's plenty I have from the ITC where some I can make out. A lot I can make out, but you have to listen to it time and time and time again to get it and piece it together. And there was one particular one where, oh my gosh, in the Milmet Museum here in my hometown. And I know that place since I've been going to school tours on it. And we placed the phone downstairs, and we were upstairs, and you can hear these 2 men in the kitchen area. We'll call it the kitchen area. And you can hear them saying, it sounds robotic, but you can make out what they're saying. Unless I explain, but you can hear some of it without me having to explain it. It's like, hey, Jenny, can you hear me? We're upstairs. And when we're doing that call out, no one can, if you move your foot, tag it. If you cough, tag it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Audio, we got to tag it that's not coming from the kitchen area. Tag everything.
Yep.
And then, so we're all quiet upstairs. You will hear one of the guys talking for a second. So then I will, when people listen to it, I will just put my finger up to say that's when you know it's one of our guys upstairs talking
Yeah.
in the area where we're calling out. And then you go, hey, Jenny, can you hear me? And then these two men are talking. They're talking. We don't know what they're saying, but they're talking. One is saying like, shut up or something like that. And the other one is saying something that I cannot repeat. I cannot say on live. And then they're talking to each other. And then, because we're saying nothing upstairs. And then one of the guys say, hey, Jenny, hey, can you hear me? She murdered me. And then someone else says at the end of it, stupid B. Now, I got for a year, I have gotten all of that until my daughter's friend came into my house one day, listened to the audio, and she goes, I can hear it. She murder. I'm like, okay, I'm doing audio for years. It's okay, young ears. It's okay. I'll re-listen to it. I did. And I'm like, do you want to join my team? Do you want to join my team? Because my ears are getting older. And she's young. And I'm like, do you want to join my team? But it fitted in that puzzle that matched to that kitchen that we had found out the history a year and a half prior to that. It matched in perfect.
No.
Absolutely perfect. So they were in the kitchen, intelligent. And every time we say, and I call out, say, do you want X, Y, Z to go into the kitchen? Make a sound if you do, and no sound's being done. Do you want me to go into the kitchen? You can hear it. Shh. And they all look at me saying, Jenny, and I'm like, no. Because I know that kitchen, and I don't want to be in that kitchen on my own. And people say, Jenny, you're an investigator, you're still scared. Seen enough, heard enough, felt enough to know I'm not Biddy Big Balls. I would do it if someone's outside the door, but if, fight or flight and, anything can happen. And I'd be reading about it and people say, Jenny, you're doing this many years.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And you get that little touch, you get a in your ear and you're thinking like, I'm frozen on the chair. I probably would have soiled myself in the chair, even though from excitement or fear of WTF or anything like that. I'm human. I keep saying I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm not a ghost, but I'm not what people say. We do run into buildings, but I'm human.
I don't really get scared too much from anything with that, but I know the times where if I don't leave, I'm gonna get an attachment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know. I'm not afraid to say that I'm very gung-ho. I'm very in. I do what I need to do. I do it right and I do it good. But I'm not afraid to say that sometimes I do get nervous.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. And then sometimes I'm just thinking, today's not the day and I'm definitely not the one. You can throw your best at me and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. So I'm not afraid to say that. I know it was said to me in Lepcast, it goes, Jenny. And I'm like, don't care. It's your first time here. When you know what I know, I'll be saying the same thing to you. My daughter's just coming into the room now. She's gone back out. But yeah, Lev Castle is, and all the locations. The ITC is great. ITC is brilliant. I think everyone should even try it out to see what it's like.
Yeah, I have to.
It gives great results. I love it.
So do you have any experiences that you'd like to share from the Hellfire Club?
Oh, yes, I do. I do. I will say the trek up to the mountains is hard. It is hard, but it's doable. There's an easy way and a hard way. The first time I went up, I thought, and it was torrential rain, and I thought we are going to have helicopter service here to come and pick me up because I thought, oh my God. I tell the people, go ahead, save yourselves. But we get to the top and it's worth it. It is definitely worth it. You will get men's voices. You'll get some females, but you'll have some male voices coming through. And most of them are basically telling you to basically go away in their own way of saying go away. They'll tell you to go away. And I would say, you know, me being me as a woman, saying it's no longer a gentleman's club now, it's a woman's club and you're not invited. That's not provoking. It's just kind of like it is what it is today. You know, anyone can come into it. And I did ask one question one time. We were down at the first floor. Our REM pod was up at the left-hand side. And I'm more video and I'm more audio. Anything else is just, I like to document everything. So I want to make sure if we're using a REM pod, no one is around it. K2, where no natural electricity resources, anything like that. There for me are just kind of like maybes, and I'll note it down. Recorder and video are for me. So we had a REM pod up on the second floor of the Hellfire Club on the left-hand side. So I'm calling out, and I'm calling out for William and so on and so on. And I'm saying, you know, I said, this used to be a gentleman's club, and I will use the word gentleman very loosely because you're anything but gentlemen. And I proceeded to tell them what they were, which I won't say, but I proceeded to tell them what they were. And then you can hear the REM pod going off at the top left, where we had left the REM pod. Everybody's downstairs. So I thought, oh my God, we got that. You know, I didn't think they would, but they did. There is one particular video when one of the team members were downstairs and she was setting up a camera. Myself and another team member were upstairs, and you see this thing on a wall, like a light on a wall. Even she had seen it this time, and she had put the IR light on. This was without the IR light. So then when she's seen this, and you can hear her going, oh, like she could see it. Then she put her IR light on, and you could see her walking upstairs, walking around, and you can hear her saying, lads, did anyone, like, I seen a strange thing downstairs. So what it was like when you walk into the Hellfire Club, you have stairs in front of you. They go up, there's a room in front of that, but you turn around and you go up again, and you're on the second floor of the Hellfire Club. But on the left-hand side, there was something, it looked as if it was a head car light, but you're in the mountains. You're in the mountains. Yeah. But it came down like a snake. Huh. And it went down onto the floor and went under the stairs. We recreated that scene with the torch, with the camera, with extra people with us. We showed them the video and we said, right, you know, help us with this. And it goes down, slithers down onto the floor, across the floor and behind the first set of stairs. It wasn't a torch. We tried it with the torch. The torch will go down so far. Toby, it will go down so far, and then it would stop. It will not slide off the wall, slide onto the floor and go behind the stairs. So we have that video footage as well. So things like, hello, Yogi Bear. Yogi wants to come in.
It's like, I want to be on camera.
I know. I've got 5 dogs. Hello. What's going on? Is the cat annoying you? Thank you. Lovely. So basically in the Hellfire Club, gosh, we did the ethic method in the Hellfire Club as well. So you will get a lot from that. You'll get some people from the north as well. You can hear northern accents. Some women always saying, help me. Right. Toto. Some women saying, help me. And you'll have the males telling you to F off. You know, and it's understandable. You know, you're in there now. We have taken many people up there with us. It is a great place. I like it. And I think it's fabulous. And there's more to it than what I know about it. There's more to it. I have been to other places where there's no place that I've gone. Well, there's actually one place that I went to many years ago, but I forget the name of it. It's an old home. It's beside me. You know, we didn't get anything really from it. Not everywhere has, you know, activity to it, but every location that I've been to has everything in it. The Hellfire Club, it is good. It would be on my list, but not my top 3.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy. I know it's the Hellfire Club, but Each to their own. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
on my top three. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, but it's a good place. It is a good place. It is good.
So what are some other locations you've been to that you didn't have in your bio?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm trying to think. Oh, we went to Waterford, to a museum in Waterford. It's still a working museum. It is the medieval Waterford Museum. Um, I need to get my cat out for 1 second. Give me one. Elsa, can you take Toby out of the kitchen or the living room? Sorry, that's my cat. He always likes to make an appearance. The medieval. That's. I know there's another great team that's doing that location right now, and they've been doing it for a while now, and they're getting so much more from it. I was there for the first time, and it's a great place. I just didn't do enough of it to get more from it. Different locations that I come from in my hometown. I live in Drogheda in the south of Ireland, and it's one of the most historical towns in Ireland. I live beside the Boyne River, the Oliver Cromwell, who came and attacked Ireland, attacked Drogheda, being one of them. Mellifont Abbey, which was built by the French monks and whatnot. They didn't like it, so they moved back to France. I've been out there as well, got a little bit from it, but when you start off someplace for one time and it's that you get nothing until you do it time and time and time again before they get to know you and say, okay, here comes Jenny again. This place is, say, 12 minutes away from me. It's about 12 minutes away. I live in a very historical town. There's Newgrange, which is beside me, Newgrange. That's a great place. Now, we don't investigate it because you're not allowed to investigate it.
Okay.
It's a monument. You're not allowed to investigate it. But I have been out to it a few times, and it's older than the pyramids. It is old. Oh yes, it is old. It's beautiful.
Jeez.
Yeah, when I think it's the winter or the summer solstice comes, there's only one. There's oh gosh, people who from Drogheda, if they watch this, they say, Jennifer, get it right. Well, you see this when you go in this tunnels, it's very narrow, and it's about the sunlight. You'll see the sunlight coming into it, and it brightens up the whole inside of it, where you wouldn't natural light, where you wouldn't get that any other day of the year. I should know more about it, but I'm too involved with other stuff that I do that, when some things are so close to you at home that you just don't get into because you're like, it's out the road, I'll go out to it, another time.
It's weird talking to people that live in Arizona their whole lives and they've never seen the Grand Canyon.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
What's it like?
It's neat. It's really immense. Yeah, really colorful, especially at sunrise and sunset.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's like
it's neat.
Like even here in Minnesota, you run into people that have never been up to the North Shore and Lake Superior. It's just like, what? How is that even possible?
Friend of mine, she lives in Minnesota, and I know she goes camping, and she goes to a lake. She goes to a lake in a camper van, and I could be completely the wrong area. I'm not too sure. But she goes camping, and then we would have like whatever time it is over there, and it's probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning here, and myself and my 2 other friends would be talking to my friend in Minnesota, and she's camping, and me and my friend are talking away, and then we mute our friend, and we say, between the background noise and and the engine and whatnot going off, we're doing a call out. We did a call out, and she's beside the lake, and the guys go fishing and whatnot. This is at nighttime, and the guys go fishing. So myself and my friend did a call out. I have my recorder running here just because, why not? So I'm calling out questions. I'm Jenny from Ireland, and blah 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 blah. We're talking away. Well, the responses were, and I'm looking at my friend, and she's looking at me, and she does American Sign Language, and I can do Irish Sign Language. So we're sign language to each other, but because they're totally different, we're like, what? Yeah. What? I'm doing ISL and she's doing ASL. But the response that we have gotten, and I have to find out from my friend, because I was speaking to her beforehand, I have to find out where she goes camping, because it's beside a lake and they're in the camper van. And the responses that we got from it, and I'm looking at my friend thinking, did we just get a male response? And you know when you're doing audio work, voices, and I know when I was doing audio last week, and we had to go through this piece of audio from Lepcastle three or four times until we could literally debunk it. It wasn't anything EVP wise. But you know the response to your question. And we were on video call, and my friend is camping, and me and my other friend are on video all together. And I was saying, have you ever been to Ireland and whatnot? You know, just asking these random stupid questions and whatnot. And I've been told what to do it myself. And I'd look at my friend and I'm like, and she's like, and I'm like, because we couldn't say because we listened to the audio.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do that. Yeah, we kind of do that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know water's a major draw for spirits, and I found out through the years that it's just really surprising how active any given stretch of woods is with spirits.
Right.
So you get the lakes besides the woods for camping. Yeah, it's just probably a pretty active area.
Right, it's a great conductor for activity.
Mm-hmm.
So to hear me on video on a video call saying, "Hey, have you been to Ireland?" and I'm like, Jenny, blah blah blah. I probably think this big Irish accent coming in saying, "Who the hell does she think she is?
Right.
What are you talking about, Jenny?"
We're
Like,
German over here.
Yeah, like it's just me, Jenny. Have you been to Ireland before? And I think my friend was saying it was kind of like a native land or something like that. But I didn't know that until after she had told me. And I said, well, obviously then, because the Irish and the native, the Choctaw, very well, good relationship. But I don't know what tribe they were, so I didn't know that until afterwards. She needs to tell me where they're from. But even things like that, I know I've done locations before, and I'd be on video call with my friends, from paranormal friends, and I'd always like to do a call out so they can call out in America over to my location. And I know one time when I was doing it with a friend of mine in New York, and I said, right, you can call out or whatever. So he was talking to his friends, and all I could hear on my side when I did the playback was phenomenon. And it was on my side, you could hear a man saying phenomenon. So I did an EVP show one night on my show, and I had a panel on, and they're all saying, I can hear this, I can hear that, I can hear a 5-word sentence. And I'm like, what? Oh, you can't. I'm going down to the shop to buy some mug. No, it's not saying that. It's saying phenomenon. Phenomenon. You can hear one word, phenomenon. You're whispering. And then you ever get that ear pareidolia where people will hear completely different things to what you hear? Yeah. It took me a long time to say, Jennifer, I'm not always right. I'm not always wrong, but I'm not always right. But I know when I hear it and I stick to it. I do. I'm very kind of like strict when it comes to audio.
Yeah.
But I listen and I don't judge.
Yeah.
I listen and I don't judge. But I've been doing it a very long time.
All right. One question I always like to ask, but I'll do a double-sided question here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Bucket list location for somewhere you haven't been in Europe and then over here in the United States.
Oh, okay. I would always love to do the Vatican. The Vatican would be one I've always wanted to do. People say why, and I have my reasons why. I just want to do the Vatican. There's a lot of questions that I have. And the other place in America, I would love to go to Alcatraz. And I know a lot of people say Alcatraz.
Yep.
I want to go to Alcatraz so bad. Yeah. I would love to go to Alcatraz. You cannot leave with not having nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have your cojones, and kind of like go there, and don't be nervous, which is understandable. But accept or be prepared for what you will hear, see, feel, get.
Mhm.
That's in Alcatraz. I would love to go there. I know there's a place here in Ireland called Spike Ireland, and it's down off the southwest of Ireland, and
Yep.
it used to be a prison, but it's
Yeah.
bigger than Alcatraz. It used to be a prison as well, but it's bigger than Alcatraz. We have that here in Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, I
Bigger than Alcatraz.
remember the team, like Project Fear, when they were Destination Fear, they went there.
Yeah. I know it's closed now to paranormal teams, but someday I'll get over. I've been in Cork a few times, like, so I'll get there eventually. But the Vatican is because there's so many things. So
Oh, yeah.
it's religion. If they don't believe, some people, when we've had discussions before, they don't believe in paranormal and whatnot, but everything is on the same table and the same platform. And I know when I do my shows, my friends say, Jenny, please don't talk about religion. Please don't talk about religion. But I do sometimes. And I'm like, not negatively, but questionably from what I do. And it's not to be ever disrespectful or anything like that. The questions that everyone wants to think, they think it, but they don't say it.
Yeah.
I do. So the Vatican would definitely be one of them. I want answers from a lot of them. Absolutely. Yeah.
That would be an amazing location.
Mhm.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be brilliant of them to do someday. I've been to Italy, but I haven't been there. But someday
Yeah.
I'll go back.
So for the rest of 2025, what do you have for your investigation plans?
I know on Tuesday I'm back at Lep Castle. I'll be filming. I'll be doing some TV work on Tuesday in Lep Castle. What it is, where they're from, I cannot say, but it will be brought out later in the year.
Okay.
Then I have the Cumber House up in the north of Ireland. Then we have Wicklow Jail. Then we have Redwood Castle. That's in July. August, I'm taking a break. September, I have to do a 9-day tour. I'm doing a tour for Secret Ireland Tours with me, Hernan. So we'll be going to Lep Castle Hellfire Club. It's a tour that May runs, and so we have about 25, 27 Americans coming over from England, Ireland, UK, and so we travel Ireland for 9 days, and everything itinerary is all done up. And so I'll be guiding the tour for them for September. And then after that, I'm going to take a few weeks break. I take a few weeks break just because I need a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a holiday. I definitely need to get away somewhere hot. Yeah, I might just camper all my 5 dogs into a van and drive off somewhere with them.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can see if the dog kind of running around here.
So the one in September, that 9-day, was that with Michelle and Brittany and Larry Eisler?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
me.
yep.
I'm with them. Yeah, you know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the tour guide. I'm the investigator tour guide. No, I wouldn't say tour guide because I work too hard to be called a tour guide. I work way too hard to be called a tour guide. I
Yeah.
know locations inside out, so I can guide them to these. I just make sure everything runs smoothly,
Mhm.
and the locations that they're going to, give them a little heads up, stand back, and let them enjoy.
Yeah, I had contemplated on going to that, but it's like the beginning of the school year over here, and I work in a school, and with the kids, the timing just didn't work out. And
yeah, same here, school year as well here. But I worked hard for raising my 2 daughters. Mama needs to get away.
yeah,
It's my birthday month as well, so it's a big one. So I will be touring with Michelle and Brittany, and it'll be great to meet up with them. I speak to them a lot, so it'll be great to do a tour with them. It'll be brilliant.
for sure.
Yeah, we'll show them the Guinness and the whiskey
There you go.
and how it's done.
Yep. Well, the last thing we like to do on our podcast is give you a few seconds to, plug your social medias and where everybody can find you.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers. It is a private page. If you request it, I'll just take you in. My podcast is Shadow Whispers in the Night. I do shows there. I'm not as regular as normal, but when I am, I do post it up. On TikTok, I'm Jen Paranormal. On TikTok, you'll see all my videos on that. And YouTube is Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers. You'll see my live shows on that, my live investigations and prior videos from before. And I've started the page up again, so it's just starting off new again. So you'll find me on those platforms.
All right. Sounds great. You definitely have to give those a check out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. Thank you
Yes.
both for having me.
All right. You have a great rest of your day.
I will do. Thank
All
you.
right.
I don't know how to leave the person to leave. Thank you so much. And we'll catch up soon. My dogs want to go for the bathroom.
All right. Sounds good.
All
Talk
right,
to you
night.
soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
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 Bye.